Hey, what's up everyone? John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be comparing the language apps from Rocket Languages and Rosetta Stone, both of which I've used for a while now. In fact, I did this very same comparison video about a year ago, but since I released that video, both companies have made some pretty major updates to their programs, so today we're going to take another look at how these two language apps compare, and I'll let you know which one I would recommend. And by the way, I should just mention up front here that since I'll just be focusing on the highlights in this video, if you find you need more detail at any point, you can always check out our full detailed written comparison over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight, Rocket versus Rosetta Stone. It's a quick way to find it. Okay, so I want to start by giving you a high-level overview of how Rocket and Rosetta Stone each work. I think this will provide some context for my thoughts on what I like and don't like about each of these apps. So let me start with Rosetta Stone. In looking at Rosetta Stone from a high level, there are 20 units in the program to complete. These units cover major thematic topics like home and health, everyday things, and work and school. And within each of these 20 units, there are 4 main lessons. So you can probably do the math, but 20 units times 4 lessons equals 80 total lessons in the whole program. Not too bad. But what I will say is that each lesson is pretty comprehensive. They're all built around a core 30-minute learning module with a mix of supplemental drills around that, which all cover things like pronunciation, grammar, reading, vocab writing, and listening. Those supplemental drills usually take 5 to 10 minutes each. And as for the core 30-minute learning module in each lesson though, the thing you need to know about Rosetta Stone is that the program is largely built around images. Almost every single exercise consists of a series of pictures in a grid, which you use in some way or another. Sometimes the program will say something and have you match what was said to the right picture. Sometimes it's matching written phrases to the images. Sometimes it's speaking what's in the image and having the speech software listen in. And sometimes the pictures are used to teach grammar. Bottom line, Rosetta Stone mainly uses pictures to teach the language you're learning. The program is clearly built to have you create mental associations between what you're learning and imagery. This forces you to rely more on intuition rather than memorization to learn the language, so you don't have to use English as a go-between. Now, Rocket Languages is pretty different in their approach. Their whole program begins and ends with audio lessons. There's very little use of pictures like there is with Rosetta Stone. To start each Rocket Languages unit, you'll listen to an in-depth 30-minute audio lesson. In this lesson, an English-speaking moderator will guide you through a dialogue in the language you're learning step by step. You'll listen to a sentence or two, and then the moderator will briefly stop to explain what's going on, what you just heard, and have you participate in the conversation by answering questions and repeating phrases. And while you listen to the audio exercise, a rolling transcript plays underneath where you can see how words are spelled and follow along. Then, after the audio lesson, you review what you just learned through a variety of drills and exercises. In this way, the drills are kind of like homework after a class session. These reinforcement drills include listen and repeat type drills, flashcards, quizzes, and my personal favorite, reenacting the underlying conversation from the audio lesson by playing the part of one of the two speakers. But here's the thing. That's just the primary part of the Rocket program. The other half of the lessons in each Rocket module are called language and culture lessons. In these lessons, Rocket dives deep into a specific grammar principle, which they break down with short explanations, examples, and graphics. The point of these is to zero in on structural differences between English and the language you're learning and have you learn grammar more directly. And that's more or less Rocket. Audio lessons backstopped by reinforcement drills, and then detailed grammar and culture lessons. So, from a high level, that's how the two companies compare. Both companies' lessons are about an hour long from end to end, and they're very different in format. The Rosetta Stone lessons are really image heavy and focus more on learning intuitively, while the Rocket lessons are all about immersion through audio lessons. And I know I covered that really fast, so if you do want to take a deeper dive and see examples of the lessons or drills from either company, make sure to check out that full detailed written comparison I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description for you. I have screenshots and examples over there so you can get a better feel for how each program works. Alright, so before we dive straight into talking about what I like and don't like about each program, let's quickly touch on cost. Rosetta Stone has 3 different plans to choose from. There's a 3-month subscription plan, that costs $12 per month. There's a 12-month plan, that's also $12 per month. And then there's a lifetime plan, which is a one-time purchase and gets you access for life to all of Rosetta's languages for $300. And if you're wondering why the 12-month plan costs the same as the 3-month plan, it's because Rosetta is almost always running a sale on that 12-month package, and it's most often found for $8 per month. And similarly, the lifetime package, even though it retails for $300, you can almost always find a code to make it $180 total. Now, Rocket on the other hand is a little different since they don't offer monthly subscription plans. Instead, they only offer one-time purchase lifetime plans. You buy the course and get access forever. The Rocket packages retail for around $150 to $450, depending on whether you want the beginner only, intermediate, or advanced bundle. So in terms of pricing, it's a little hard to compare because Rocket doesn't have monthly subscription plans while Rosetta Stone does. So if that's what you're looking for, it's kind of an open and shut case. But in terms of each company's lifetime plans, they're pretty equal in price. Like I said, Rosetta Stone's package can usually be found on sale for around $180, and Rocket Languages is super aggressive with their discounting. You can almost always find their courses discounted by at least 50%, if not more, making the cost pretty comparable. So if you do decide to go with one of these two companies, make sure to check the description below for coupon codes. I'll drop any current discounts and deals I can find floating around on the internet down there for you. It makes the prices a lot cheaper. Alright, so now that we've talked about cost and lesson format, let's cover the main advantages of using Rocket over Rosetta and vice versa. And let's start with Rocket Languages. So, first major advantage for Rocket is definitely their audio lessons. Like I said earlier, these audio lessons are really the heart and soul of their program and what makes Rocket different from most other language apps. Personally, I think these audio lessons are really engaging and do a great job of getting you to actually think under pressure and verbalize what you're learning. You'll notice with a lot of other language apps, including Rosetta Stone, that they don't have any significant amount of listening or speaking exercises. But that's literally the bulk of the Rocket program content. And to me, this is about the most powerful way of truly internalizing a new language and becoming comfortable with it. You just have to hear a lot of your target language. And one of the coolest parts of the Rocket audio lessons is that when you're done, you can then play the underlying conversation that the lesson is built around in real time and play the part of one of the two actors. It's awesome. Okay, so my next one for Rocket, and I might get some pushback for this, is that I think their speech software is better than Rosetta's. Or at the very least, it's not as annoying. Although the Rosetta Stone speech software called True Accent gets a ton of hype because they've got a patent on it and have spent so much time and money on it, it honestly bugged me to no end the whole time I was using this program. So many times I knew I would be saying a word correctly and it would say I was wrong and make me repeat it, sometimes 3 or 4 times in a row. It honestly got really frustrating. Now, Rocket's speech tech isn't perfect, but I definitely prefer it. Rocket uses Google's Web Speech API for their underlying software, and it's a really strong program. It's less sensitive in a good way, it's more accurate, and provides more helpful feedback with a grade of 1 to 100. So if pronunciation feedback is important to you, you definitely gotta go with Rocket. Then, my last win for Rocket over Rosetta Stone here are the language and culture lessons that I referenced earlier. When it comes to grammar, Rosetta Stone does things a little differently than most apps. Rather than more direct instruction, they kind of let you discover grammar intuitively. They sort of teach you important grammar points like verb conjugations and the passive voice through the image exercises. So as you see the different sentence structures and verb forms over and over in the drills, you start to intuitively pick up how the language works. Now, in contrast, Rocket's in-depth language and culture lessons dive directly into more important grammar principles. But the nice thing is that they don't clobber you with over-analysis. It's usually just a quick 2 to 3 sentence explainer followed by some examples. They'll do that for a handful of points in each lesson, which I really like. Plus, they even sprinkle in some cool cultural things about etiquette and manners as well, which I think is pretty cool. Overall, their style of grammar instruction just worked a little bit better for me. Alright, so that's Rocket in a nutshell. Now let's turn the tables and cover the major advantages in favor of Rosetta Stone. But before I get to that, I should just mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a free language learning course to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter. Everyone out there is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description on how to get entered, but just know it takes like 10 seconds and hey, you never know. You could win a totally free subscription to Rocket Languages or Rosetta Stone. Okay, so my first advantage for Rosetta Stone and where I see them beating Rocket is all of the visuals and graphics in their program. If you're a visual learner, I think there's no doubt about it, you have to go with Rosetta Stone. Some people are just pure visual learners. They associate the new things they learn with pictures and graphics, so when they hear that word again, the image comes straight to mind. Or even the opposite, where they see something similar and the vocab comes straight to their mind. If you're one of these types of people that learns visually and makes mental associations, Rosetta Stone is awesome. With all of the pictures in their program, it will be effective for you. Then, another aspect of Rosetta Stone that I like is its use of immersion. Basically, in the Rosetta Stone program, there is very little use of English. They don't directly tell you what to do in each exercise in English or translate words and sentences for you. It all goes back to that point I made earlier about learning intuitively. They want you to be immersed in the language for the 20 or 30 minutes that you're sitting there working exercises, learning by, frankly, struggling a little bit. Now, they do in some parts of the program give you translations, but usually you kind of have to work for it. And the reality is that one of the fastest, most effective ways of learning a language, though it's difficult, is being immersed in hearing the language day in and day out. And Rosetta Stone tries to give you a brief stint of that every single day. Now, to some people, this can be a little frustrating and discouraging because you will get hung up and completely stuck at times. But if you don't mind struggling at certain parts, it can definitely be effective. And my final pro for Rosetta Stone is all of the cool extra resources that they provide. Rocket has a decent suite of its own extras with language survival kits, forums, and leaderboards, but Rosetta Stone offers way more supplemental tools. There's phrase books, short on-demand video lessons, stories, audio companion lessons, and even some live lessons. They just have an incredibly comprehensive bundle of tools to use outside of the main lessons. So if you're very serious about learning and want to do some extra credit outside of your daily lessons, Rosetta Stone is likely going to give you more opportunity than Rocket. Anyway though, that about does it for the detail in this comparison, so let's get to the final verdict. Should you choose Rosetta Stone or Rocket to learn a new language? Well, after using each program for a while now, I prefer Rocket languages. Rosetta Stone's program has some serious advantages like its heavy use of imagery, high repetition, the immersive effect you get when doing lessons, and all of the cool extra resources that they provide. But at the end of the day, Rocket Language's lessons and overall learning framework are just much more robust and comprehensive than Rosetta Stone's in my opinion. Not only does Rocket provide better speech software and dedicated grammar and culture content, but more importantly, I really like the guided conversations that are the focal point of their lessons. I think these audio lessons will really help propel you to an intermediate level of fluency faster than Rosetta Stone. But anyway, that's all I've got for you. I hope this video was helpful and you learned a little something about both Rocket and Rosetta. If so, make sure to return the favor by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and dropping me a quick comment below. That would be really appreciated. And again, if you want to see that full, detailed, written comparison that I mentioned earlier in this video, just hop on over to our website, testprepinsight.com, or check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. We got a bunch of great content out there. But as always, thanks for watching, best of luck, and I'll see you next time.